Now we're getting close to the point where we can actually test our course in links. But there are a couple of things we need to check and do first. And one of the main things is make sure it's going to be playable before we waste our time putting it into links. So one of the main issues that will make it unplayable is the greens. If we've generated a random terrain and marked out our course on that, chances are some of the greens will be completely unplayable on very steep slopes. So we need to check round our course and try and make the greens a bit more playable. So I'm going to just look at the first green here of the 2 holes I've done, and that looks pretty unplayable to me. So I really need to flatten that out a bit, because the ball's not even going to stay on that green, let alone be able to putt on it. So what you could do is, simple way, is just flatten the greens for now and work on them later. You could do that by just selecting the green, either the faces or the verts. If we go terrain, we can go vert, select all, and we could just click the flatten command, which will pull the green down flat. We can then go around, adjust the verts around just to smooth it out again. We could pull some of these verts. I go to select, whoops, box select, and then we could just adjust some of these verts until it was in a more playable state. It would help if I was on move rather than select, wouldn't it? And we can raise up the verts that we need to. Just go around adjusting the ones until we get a nice playable sort of green. Just looking at the verts I want. Probably do, maybe that one as well. It'll take a little while. But yeah, just go round, move all these verts that are in, making these sharp drops in elevation, and then we could, if we didn't want a completely flat green, we can then slightly elevate it, make a few changes. But that's not the way I work. I tend to like to keep the slopes going with the natural terrain, so I'll just step backwards with Control and Z. And what I would tend to use is a control we haven't used yet, and that's the tilt command. So I would select the verts to be moved, the box select. Let's select the whole area, the green and the verts around it. And maybe one's just in front as well. You need to make sure you've got all the verts in the area. If you miss one, you'll find it will leave a nasty mess when you tilt it. But now I go up to the tilt selection command, and it draws a yellow line around the area, and we can then use this box shaped area by hovering over the yellow line. We can grab all four sides of it, and we can actually tilt the ground. So if I want to press and hold, I can pull this up, and that will tilt it along that plane. Obviously it's sort of at an angle. I would have preferred the rectangle to be drawn around there, then I could have just tilted it straight up, but it's never that easy, so you have to go with what you're given. But a combination of the controls, I can maybe now just select the green itself, so I could box select some of these off. I'll just have the green. And the surrounding verts. And again, I could go to tilt, and the box will be resized to the verts I've got left. And again, I can tilt that. Get my green. How I want it. And again, I'll have to adjust some of these verts that have created a misshapen land just to make it look smoother. So I'll bring these up. That one. And I always forget to put it on move. I'm on select, and then you click on one and they all disappear again. I've been doing that now for 2 years and I still do it, so I'm sure you'll probably do it once or twice yourselves. I'm just going to pull these up. These two here. The problem in APCD though is it's very, very hard to judge a slope, especially on the greens. What looks to be flat can be horrendously sloped, and you just can't see it in the APCD. So I might think this is getting flat, and it could be very bad. I mean, as I rotate around this way, it does look severely sloped still, if my camera's at a horizontal level, which you can never be sure. So it probably needs to be tilted up quite a bit more. But what you can do, if you remember this number at the bottom here, the vert height, if we select a single vert on our green, we can check that number, 118.65 foot. We can check the other end of the green, and that's at 119. Now, for all the life, where I've got this camera, that looks downhill to me, but that's actually higher than that point over there. This is what I mean by difficult to judge slopes. That's actually at a lower point there than it is down here. So we'll check a point there, that looks a lot lower, and it's 117. So that is dropping down. So I might need to raise up part of the green here, but let's just check over this end. And that's 117, so that's lower there. Again, it's very, very tricky to see it on APCD. It's one of the things that you only realise how bad things are when you get into the game and test it in Lynx itself. Now I've got some verts here that have been left behind by the tilt, so I need to raise those up as well. But at least part of that green is going to be playable now, and if we test it at a fairly slow speed, it'll be good enough just to test out the course. And then as we sort the green out and what we want later, we can make it play better for faster speeds if that's what we intend to do. So go round your course, adjust your greens and try and make them what you think will be playable in the game. We'll find out later whether it is or not when we test it. A few of these verts in the front of the green are actually higher than the green itself, so I'm going to just move these down as well. There's a row of verts here that I want to move down. I can now move that point down as well. Oh, I've obviously got a vert over here. Saw it move. So yes, check out your greens. They'll be the most unplayable parts of your course. Also, blind spots, they're going to be an issue. Certainly for me, I don't like any blind shots, and what you'll find quite often is you'll have one directly in front of your tee. And now where most courses are going to have the odd blind shot on them, you don't really want a bank, 10 foot in front of you so you can't see anything. If it exists in real life, well, all very well, but it's not nice to see in a fictional course, I don't think. And because I don't use the top cam, I like to be able to see as much as I can from as many places as I can. Plus I want to get my holes looking nice, and if you've put the work in with all your planting and making the holes look nice, you want people to see them. You don't want them to be hidden behind a big hill. So I'll just check the tee, and yeah, it's a bit raised up just in front of the tee as well, so that's another part. I'm going to have to lower the ground just in front of this tee, so maybe if I can just lower those two. Oh no, that looks high as well. Maybe if I lower those 3 verts, we might find I can see. I'm also going to have to flatten the tee area, because obviously tee areas should be flat. Whether I do this now or later isn't that crucial, because the game will play as a flat tee even if it isn't. So if we go into links and we've got our tee on a slope, it will actually say in links that it's on flat ground because the ball's on a tee peg. If we had to drop it on a tee, or a ball landed on a tee, it would then be on a slope. But for actually teeing off, it will still say it's flat even when it isn't. But you quite often forget to flatten your tee areas, so it's probably a good idea to do them soon after you create the tees. So I will actually just flatten this tee now. And what I'll do, I'll drag select, I'll flatten the tee plus these around as well for now. And I'll just highlight them and click flatten. Again, it's going to probably pull the ground and cause bits that I don't want. I probably need some more verts around here now. So I'll quickly go to surface, put the terrain painter on its usual settings. I'll just add a couple more verts around here. And I'll move them down a bit. It's okay. In fact, I might move that one down a bit more as well. So now I can see off my tee. I'll probably move these down as well at the same time. Just pull those down a little bit. Just improves the view, makes it look a bit more natural. I've got another vert selected here, saw that just moving. This is something you have to be careful of. If you've left a vert selected and you hold the shift key to select more, you'll still have the verts that you clicked on before selected, so you can accidentally move verts that you didn't mean to. So you have to be wary of that. I'll just pull that up. I can't be bothered to redo all that. That'll do for now. Another thing, if you select verts on this screen, because you're looking, it will pick, there could be verts behind this hill in the distance on another hole. So you could block select. Oops. It's me grabbing verts again. If I grab those verts like that, they might look like they're here, but they could actually be miles away, and those ones actually are. So I usually raise it up, hold control, and then just delete the ones I don't want if I've accidentally picked up verts in the distance. So by changing the height, you can soon see if the verts you've selected are all in one place, or you've actually picked up verts somewhere where you don't want to. Because if you don't notice and you start thinking you're moving just these verts here, those ones could be moved. You just don't know what you're doing on the rest of your course. So there is an option to display just the verts on the hole you're on. The problem with this is it doesn't stop you grabbing the verts that you can't see, so I found it pretty useless. I thought at first it was going to be a really good idea because I wouldn't accidentally select verts on another hole, but it doesn't stop you doing that. It just stops you seeing them. It doesn't stop you selecting them. So I don't even bother using that. I just use these normal views.